Picture an island, secluded from any major continent, where the tropical climate bathes limestone cliffs in golden sunlight and lush greenery stretches endlessly. To some, it's an idyllic paradise. To others, a solitary retreat. This is where our adventure begins. Welcome to Henderson Island. Henderson Island is one of the most isolated places on Earth, located in the South Pacific Ocean and part of the Pitcairn Islands Group, another British overseas territory. This tiny speck of land is situated approximately halfway between New Zealand and Chile. It lies not only far from the hustle and bustle of modern civilization, but also holds significant ecological and historical importance. The island is about 193 kilometres, or 120 miles from Pitcairn Island, the closest inhabited land, and about 495 kilometres, or 307 miles from Mangareva in the Gambier Islands of French Polynesia, making Henderson Island one of the most secluded locations in the world. It is a raised coral atoll, a geological formation that began with volcanic activity, creating an underwater seamount. Over millions of years, coral reefs developed around this seamount, eventually forming a coral atoll. The formation involved cycles of coral growth during periods of high sea levels and erosion during low sea levels. It reached its current form around 380,000 years ago, with subsequent tectonic uplift raising the coral structure above sea level to form the present-day island. The island's surface consists predominantly of limestone, heavily eroded and featuring karst formations such as caves, sinkholes, and cliffs. These geological features create a rugged and uneven terrain, with a central plateau dissected by numerous gullies and covered with dense vegetation. It covers an area of approximately 37.3 square kilometres, or 14.4 square miles, rendering it relatively small in comparison to many other Pacific islands. However, its small size belies the breathtaking natural features. Henderson's history is as intriguing as its geological formation. Archaeological evidence suggests that the island's earliest known human interaction dates back to around 800 to 1000 AD, when Polynesians settled there. These settlers utilized the island's resources for food, tools, and shelter, leaving behind remains such as fishhooks and remnants of their dwellings. The Polynesian occupation of Henderson Island was part of a broader pattern of exploration and settlement across the Pacific Ocean, and they likely relied on the island's rich marine resources as well as its limited freshwater sources and vegetation. However, by the 15th century, the island was abandoned, possibly due to resource depletion or changes in climate. For now, the reasons for this abandonment remain a topic of scientific inquiry and debate. The island remained uninhabited until European discovery in the early 17th century. On January 29, 1606, Portuguese navigator Pedro Fernandes de Queiroz, sailing for Spain, became the first European to sight the island, naming it San Juan Bautista. Despite its discovery, the island remained largely unvisited until the early 19th century. On the 17th of January 1819, the island was rediscovered by British Captain James Henderson of the East India Company ship Hercules, and it was subsequently named after him. On March 2nd that same year, Captain Henry King, sailing on Elizabeth, landed on the island to find the King's colours already flying. His crew decided to scratch the name of their ship into a tree. Throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, Henderson Island was sporadically visited by explorers and researchers. One notable expedition was conducted by the British ornithologist Henry Baker Tristram in 1872, who documented the island's unique bird species. In 1957, the Whitney South Sea expedition, led by the American Museum of Natural History, further studied the island's flora and fauna. Studies on Henderson have contributed to broader scientific understanding in areas such as island biogeography, species adaptation, and the impacts of invasive species. The island's relatively undisturbed ecosystem provides a rare opportunity to study natural processes in isolation from significant human interference. The vegetation on the island is characterized by a mix of endemic, indigenous, and introduced species. The plant life plays a crucial role in maintaining its unique ecosystems and providing habitats for its diverse fauna. Starting with endemic flora, we first look at the fan palm. This species is distinguished by its large fan-shaped leaves and a trunk that can reach considerable heights. The island provides a unique habitat for it, contributing to its distinct characteristics. Next, we have the Henderson fern. This fern is notable for its lush, green fronds and its adaptation to the island's specific environmental conditions, thriving in the island's limestone-rich soils and shaded areas. We also have the hibiscus, which is characterized by its vibrant flowers. These flowers can range in color from white to various shades of pink. The plant thrives in the island's tropical climate, contributing to the island's rich biodiversity. When it comes to indigenous plants on the island, which of course are native to the region but are also found on other Pacific islands. The casuarina trees, for instance, are commonly found along the coastlines, providing important nesting sites for seabirds. They are highly adaptable to harsh conditions, including saline environments and poor soils. Their resilience makes them a dominant species on the island. Next, we look at the Tahitian chestnut. This species is widespread in the island's forests and are known for producing edible nuts. They're also rich in starch and protein, providing a valuable nutritional resource. The large, spreading canopy of these trees offer shade and shelter, supporting biodiversity on the island. Lastly, we have the scaevola, which are commonly found along the beaches. This shrub is well adapted to coastal conditions, thriving in sandy soils and tolerating high levels of salt spray. Its succulent leaves and robust growth make it a common sight on sandy beaches and coastal dunes. Some plant species have been introduced to Henderson Island, either intentionally or accidentally. These include the coconut palm, which was introduced by Polynesian settlers. These coconut palms are now a common sight on the island. They are also known for their longevity, with some trees living up to 100 years or more. Interestingly, they continue to produce coconuts throughout their lifespan. Next, we have the lantana. This invasive plant species does not just outcompete native plants for resources like sunlight, water, and nutrients, but its presence can lead to changes in soil composition and structure. It is highly flammable and can increase the risk of wildfires, which can further devastate the island's native vegetation and wildlife, leading to long-term ecological damage. Lastly, we take a look at the Biden's pileosa. One of the most distinctive features of this plant is its barbed seeds, which easily attach to clothing, animal fur, and feathers. This effective seed dispersal mechanism allows the plant to spread widely and quickly colonize new areas. However, controlling and eradicating it is often difficult and labor-intensive, requiring continuous effort and resources. Henderson's isolation and unique environment have led to the evolution of a distinctive fauna, particularly notable for its birds and invertebrates. Similar to the plant life, the island's wildlife includes endemic species, indigenous and introduced. Birds are one of the most studied groups on Henderson, with the island serving as a critical habitat for several species. For instance, the Henderson crake. This is the only flightless bird species on the island, and it is endemic to Henderson. It occupies various habitats across the island and plays a crucial role in the ecosystem. These birds are omnivorous, feeding on a variety of insects, small invertebrates, seeds, and plant matter. Their diet reflects their adaptation to the resources available on the island. The Henderson fruit dove is another endemic species. This bird is found throughout the forested areas and feeds primarily on the island's fruit resources. These birds display vibrant plumage, with males typically exhibiting more vivid colours than females. Their plumage includes shades of green, purple, and yellow, which help them blend into the lush vegetation of the island. Another of the island's endemic bird species is the Henderson lorikeet. This small parrot is usually found in the forest canopy, where it feeds on nectar and pollen. They often form small flocks and communicate with a variety of calls and songs. Their social nature helps them locate food sources and navigate their forested habitat. And lastly, we have the Henderson petrel. This seabird breeds exclusively on Henderson Island and is threatened by predation from invasive species such as rats. They are also adept flyers and are capable of travelling long distances over the open ocean in search of food. They primarily feed on squid, fish, and crustaceans which they capture while gliding over the ocean surface. The waters around Henderson Island are rich in marine biodiversity. The coral reefs and lagoon areas support a variety of fish species, invertebrates, and other marine organisms. Key marine species include reef fish, which play critical roles in maintaining the health of coral reefs. Herbivorous species like surgeonfish and parrotfish help control algae growth on coral, preventing it from smothering the reef, while predatory fish, such as groupers and snappers, maintain the balance of species by controlling the population of smaller fish and invertebrates. We can also find sea turtles. Henderson serves as an important nesting site for sea turtles, particularly the green sea turtle. These turtles return to the island's beaches to lay their eggs, contributing to the continuation of their species. Next on our list, we see the crustaceans. The waters around the island are home to a wide variety of crustaceans, including crabs, lobsters, shrimp, and barnacles. This diversity contributes to the richness of the island's marine ecosystem. These animals play essential roles in the marine food web. For instance, many species are scavengers, helping to clean the ocean floor by consuming dead plants and animals. Others are important prey for fish, birds, and marine mammals, thus supporting the food chain on the island. Henderson is also home to a variety of unique invertebrates, many of which are still being studied. First on our list is the Henderson land snail. This snail plays an important role in the island's ecosystem by decomposing organic matter. They have also adapted to the island's specific environmental conditions, including its limited freshwater supply and nutrient-poor soil, by developing efficient moisture retention and nutrient absorption mechanisms. Their shells are typically small and feature intricate patterns and colours. These shells provide protection from predators and environmental conditions. Next, we take a look at the Henderson beetle. These beetles are known for their diverse diet, which includes a variety of plant material, decaying organic matter, and occasionally other small invertebrates. This dietary flexibility helps them thrive in the island's environment. While remote and relatively undisturbed, the island faces several environmental problems and conservation concerns that threaten its unique ecosystem and biodiversity. One of the most significant threats to Henderson's ecosystem is the presence and potential introduction of invasive species, which can have devastating effects on the native fauna. The Polynesian rat, for example, which was introduced by Polynesian settlers, is known for preying on the eggs and chicks of ground-nesting birds, significantly impacting bird populations, particularly the Henderson petrel. Efforts to eradicate the rats have been considered, but logistical challenges and potential non-target impacts have complicated these plans. Despite its isolation, the island is not immune to pollution, particularly plastic debris. The beaches are littered with plastic waste. In fact, in 2015, a research expedition conducted on Henderson Island revealed a staggering and disheartening reality. The island, had one of the highest densities of plastic debris in the world. An estimated 37.7 million pieces of plastic littered its once pristine beaches, creating a stark juxtaposition of nature's beauty and humanity's ecological footprint. The plastic pollution on Henderson Island is not locally generated, of course, but primarily the result of ocean currents. It highlights the global nature of the plastic pollution problem. Debris from distant sources is carried by these currents and eventually washes ashore on the island, where it accumulates over time. The consequences of this plastic pollution are dire. Marine life, birds, and other wildlife that call the island home are exposed to the harmful effects of ingesting or becoming entangled in plastic debris. Recognizing the urgency of the plastic pollution crisis and the need to protect Henderson Island's biodiversity, various efforts have been undertaken to raise awareness and promote conservation. Conservation organizations, researchers, and volunteers have organized cleanup expeditions to remove plastic debris from Henderson's beaches. These initiatives aim to mitigate the immediate harm caused by plastic pollution. The British government, which administers the Pitcairn Islands, has implemented regulations aimed at reducing plastic pollution in the surrounding waters. These regulations include measures to limit single-use plastics and promote sustainable fishing practices. Raising awareness about the plastic pollution crisis is crucial. Educational campaigns, documentaries, and research studies have helped shed light on the issue and its global implications. In addition to plastic, other forms of marine pollution, such as oil spills and chemical contaminants, can also reach Henderson Island. Such contamination disrupts the natural balance of the ecosystem, affecting species health, reproductive success, and survival rates. The loss or decline of key species can lead to cascading effects throughout the ecosystem, altering the structure and function of the marine environment. It therefore emphasizes the need for stringent pollution control measures and effective response strategies to mitigate such impacts. Although human interaction with Henderson is minimal, certain activities pose conservation challenges. Pitcairn Islanders occasionally visit Henderson to harvest hardwoods and other natural resources. While these activities are regulated, they can still impact the island's delicate ecosystems. The island also receives occasional visitors, including scientists and tourists. Tourism is strictly controlled, however. There is always a risk of accidental introduction of invasive species or environmental degradation from human presence. Continuous scientific research and monitoring are essential to understanding the island's ecosystems and the impact of various threats. The island experiences a tropical maritime climate, characterized by relatively consistent temperatures throughout the year, with average highs around 27 degrees Celsius or 81 degrees Fahrenheit and lows around 23 degrees Celsius or 73 degrees Fahrenheit. Henderson receives moderate rainfall, with a wetter season from November to March. The climate influences the island's vegetation patterns and the availability of freshwater resources, which is scarce as there are no permanent streams or rivers. The primary source of freshwater is rainwater collected in natural depressions and temporary pools, but this limited availability of freshwater constrains the potential for permanent human habitation and affects both the island's flora and fauna. Henderson's ecosystems are of global significance due to their high levels of endemism and relatively undisturbed state. The island serves as a natural laboratory for studying evolution, species interactions, and the impacts of isolation on biodiversity. Conservation of Henderson Island contributes to broader efforts to preserve the Earth's biodiversity and natural heritage. It was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1988 due to its unique natural environment and significant biodiversity. The designation recognizes the island's outstanding universal value and aims to ensure its protection for future generations. And there you have it, a fascinating look of Henderson Island, a remote paradise teeming with unique life, history, and challenges. If you found this journey through its natural wonders and conservation efforts as intriguing as we did, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more incredible stories from the world's most extraordinary places. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and remember to stay curious.